thelandofisrael.com and IsraelNN TV present Ari and Jeremy Gimpel. Live from the heart of Israel, it's Tuesday Night Live in Jerusalem.
Welcome to Tuesday Night Live in Jerusalem. You know, we're facing some grave challenges, some real existential threats here in Israel. Not only nukes and Qassams and Katyushas, but poverty and drought. And a lot of people think we should be afraid, we should be nervous, but we all know that we've come so far. Hashem has brought us through the most tremendous miracles, and there's really nothing to be afraid of. This week's Torah portion we meet, I think, who is possibly my favorite character, my favorite personality, Nachshon ben Aminadav. I love it. As the Jewish people left Egypt, they were between the Egyptian army and the Red Sea, and they were terrified. They were frozen in paralysis. And Nachshon ben Aminadav was the one to plunge in. He took the step forward into the Red Sea, not only up to his knees or his waist or his shoulders, but all the way till there was no turning back. And only then did the sea part. Only then did God see that he had the bitachon. What is bitachon? It is having your actions perfectly represent your faith, living your faith. And he knew there was a God in the world, and he was acting on that knowledge. And that's exactly the calling that we have in Israel today. To live the knowledge that God has brought us here without compromise, without concessions. We need to understand that we need to act. We need to vote. First of all, everybody in this room needs to vote. This isn't like the United States where there's hundreds of millions of people. It's a small country. We could shift everything just in this room right here. Everything could change. We need to vote, and we need to call out to all of our brothers throughout the world, come home. We need to invest. Thank you. We need to invest all of our energy and our effort into the Temple Mount and rebuilding the third temple. That needs to be our focus. That is what it is about. And we can truly appreciate living in a Jewish state after such a long and painful exile by living these actions.
Thank you. The nation of Israel right now is divided up into two camps. One are the whiners. One are the heroes. The whiners, and we know all of them, they're the ones that complain about the bureaucracy, about the lines at Misrad HaPnim, about the politicians, and they whine and they whine and they complain and then they whine some more. We all know them. Some of us might even be them. But there's another part of Israel, and they're the heroes. Those are the people that wake up every morning. They lace their boots, they put on their IDF uniforms, and they go out to battle. Those are the soldiers of the Israeli army. Now, what's spectacular about the Israeli army is that those boys and girls are only one part of the Israeli army. There's a whole other part. In fact, it's the bulk of the Israeli army. And they're people like me, they're people like Ari, they're people like everyone in this room. They have children, they have jobs. And when the time comes, like it just did in this last war, they leave it all, they put on their clothes, and they go out to battle. They're the heroes. You don't hear them complaining about the bureaucracy or about the politicians. They hear the calling and they make it happen. That is what makes this country so amazing. One of the soldiers in the last war was killed by friendly fire. And the father of the soldier that was killed wrote a letter to the soldiers that killed his son. And you talk about Jewish heroism and what this country is made of. That's what this letter is that I'm about to read. You didn't kill Yoni. Yoni died sanctifying God's name. In heaven it was decided how long he would have here on earth. You were the pure angels sent to bring about God's will. There are all sorts of angels, and you were the angels chosen for this task. Better that your pure hands struck him, and not the impure hands of our cruel enemies, because no evil could ever touch Yoni. We know that Yoni fell from friendly fire. We know that this kind of accident is a part of the battle, and that such things can't always be avoided. These things happen in every war. And artillery fire is an essential part of the IDF's ability to defeat our enemies on the battlefield. Yoni went to war knowing the dangers, and we too knew the dangers when we sent him there. We knew that something like this could happen. We accept that this is part of what is needed to win the battle. We wish to embrace the soldiers and tell them that we love them. It's people like that that make the Jewish nation the nation we are today. We want you to enjoy a small view of the heroism, of the beauty that exuded from this beautiful country. It's not a coincidence that whenever we need it, God brings a war. He brings a war because it brings the best out of us. When we need to shine our light, it doesn't ever shine as bright as it does when we come together.
Tanks, artillery, ammunition, and lots of Israeli soldiers. That's how many once open areas adjacent to the Gaza security fence looked throughout the past few days as the IDF prepared its ground operation and signaled to Hamas what's next if they don't halt their rocket firing towards Israeli communities. And as the firing did not stop, the IDF moved ahead with plans and entered the Gaza Strip. The warnings that the retreat from Gaza will only bring an escalation in terror were disregarded by many throughout the years, but the security forces themselves were not surprised by the events.
I don't
remember another war where we had so much training designated for this eventuality. Also in terms of the motivation, we don't need to explain to the soldiers at this point or give them reasoning.
On their way in, the soldiers remember exactly who they're going to protect.
I want to tell all the residents that we are here for them and we are protecting them. We will win this war so they will have peace in their homes and so that we will finally have some peace in this country. My message to the residents of the South is, as an army, we are prepared to do whatever is necessary for you.
The reservists are not regular soldiers and all have normal lives, families, and jobs that they had to leave in order to serve.
As reservists, we came here. We left our families at home with lots of worries, but determination above everything. And we believe with God's help, we will win. We are going to prevent the bombardment of the home front, and if necessary, we will go deeper into the area. We are all trained soldiers, some of us training for 20 years. I left behind 3 children, including a 1-month-old baby, and I came with all the motivation to do what is necessary, knowing what the price may be, knowing that I have friends that will be with me, and we will take care of each other.
On the way in, the commander blesses his men.
During the past week, they have practiced for these scenarios, and there is a good feeling as we go in.
In the reservist camp itself, a broad spectrum of Israeli society is present, from Ashkenazi to Sephardi, observant, non-observant, veteran Israelis, immigrants. Among the facilities is a temporary synagogue with almost 10 morning prayer sessions. That's instead of only 1, and by the time the last prayer session is finished, almost all the soldiers have attended. As the soldiers waited for orders to enter Gaza, the president of Israel, Shimon Peres, came to the camp to give words of strength.
This battalion is strong. Everyone is united as one person with one heart, and this is a battalion with strength, with power that reflects the whole nation of Israel. After last Shabbat, we all received immediate call-up orders. We left behind families, wives, and children. We left all our work. We left all our friends behind at the moment of D-Day. You can be sure that we will do whatever is necessary. This work is not over yet. This blow is very important. The chief Iranian religious leader said he has 2 sons, Hezbollah and Hamas. Now he will have 2 crippled sons. Love the nation to you all. Be strong and courageous.
One of the reservists decided to part from the president with words of prayer. Throughout the activity, the forces are supported by tanks and helicopters. The bullet holes and demolition are proof of the determined way this operation is being conducted. The IDF used massive forces at the first entrance in order to minimize any risk to the soldiers.
Lots of fire in levels that soldiers and even veteran commanders are not familiar with. It was with the participation of combat jets, helicopters, anything available. This caused a situation where the enemy, and I have lots of experience in these kind of operations, the enemy's resistance was totally ineffective. Many of their combatants abandoned their positions. Altogether, our attack was successful. We attacked with great force in a very narrow area.
Between operational activities, our warriors are seen resting, eating while still in body armor in case of a sudden attack, and praying when given a spare moment.
We want to reach the sea, to swim all the way to Haifa, and to drive home from there. We brought our swimsuits.
The soldiers are well aware of the reasons they are fighting in Gaza, for quiet in the south, and of course for Pidyon Shvuim, freeing a captive Jew.
Gilad Shalit is an IDF soldier, and we're here for the communities in the area. We have friends in our platoon that suffered from the rocket attacks, and our battalion commander is from Ashdod. I am telling you, we're not here for nothing. We aren't going out without Gilad Shalit.
Many of the IDF soldiers fighting in the Gaza Strip are observant boys from the religious Zionist Pre-Army Torah Academy. Some of the soldiers came to the Gaza Strip after they were taken out of the area by the IDF as part of the disengagement from Gaza, whether as residents of the Jewish communities or as young boys who came to protest. Channel 10 spoke with Tzviki Bar Chai, head of the Har Hebron Regional Council, whose son Dvir was seriously injured in the fighting. Tzviki told the Channel 10 reporter his son came home on Friday and made sure to take an orange flag from the time of the anti-evacuation protests. Dvir had one intention: to raise this flag on the ruins of the once flourishing Jewish communities of the Gaza Strip.
He was injured last night as his troops started going in. Early morning he arrived here to the hospital. Since then he's in intensive care with the best doctors. We hope that his situation stabilizes and improves. He has a long time ahead of him. As I know him, he'll gather the strength and overcome. I'm sure he feels that he's missing an important opportunity. But his friends are on the front lines, and we wish them much success and health. At this time, we must back the IDF soldiers, the commanders, and not let our enemies go for a moment. Dvir was home on Friday, and he said that he feels that this is what must be done at this moment. Dvir is a very genuine young man, a man of the land. He was evicted from Gush Katif in the Gaza Strip. He came there to strengthen the residents 3 years ago. And when he came home on Friday, he said, "Father, I need to find an orange flag." He wanted to make a statement that way, to say that a foolish decision was made. And I hope that this statement will reach the hearts of the entire public these days.
In Psalms chapter 8 it says, "Out of the mouth of babies and sucklings you have founded strength because of your adversaries, that you stop the enemy and the avenger." Under this title, more than 1,000 young children from schools in Tel Aviv gathered to pray for the safety of the IDF soldiers and the residents of the south, as well as for the quick recovery of the wounded.
We ask to the Lord Almighty, who is listening to the prayers of all the people of Israel, especially the children's prayers. Please listen to these voices which are so holy and pure, and put an umbrella of peace on all of us, children, women and men in all ages, so we will have a real peace and quietness here in our father's land.
A few days after the troops began going out from the Gaza Strip, a soldier from the Golani Brigade gave the following video to the family of Dvir Emanuelov, who was killed in the fighting. The video, filmed with a cellular phone, shows the troops before entering Gaza. No fear, no hesitation, just determination and lots of faith.
יאללה באסה.
The Jewish people have a dream. 2,000 years we've been praying and we've been dreaming to return to the land of Israel. 61 years ago, that dream became a reality. In 1967, the entire world fell to their knees in awe when they heard Har Habayit Biyadenu. The Temple Mount is in our hand. And right now, we have the chance to complete the mission. We have the chance to fulfill our biblical destiny, our Jewish destiny here in the land of Israel. So all the people watching around the world, all the people here in the audience tonight, join us as we bring the Jewish revolution to the Holy Land. Shalom from Jerusalem.
השיר הזה מוקדש באהבה לחיילי צה"ל שלנו ולעם הנצח שלא מפחד מדרך ארוכה. שנזכור כולנו שהעיקר זה לא לפחד כלל. חזק חזק ונתחזק בלב נושא תפילה שמע ישראל אני צועקת עם האדמה וכשתצעק שם אחריי תזכור שעם ישראל חי והם שרים איתך עכשיו למען אחי אל תירא ישראל כי הוא אריה הלא אתה ואריה ישאג מי לא יירא ישראל אל תירא ישראל כי הוא אריה הלא אתה ואריה ישאג מי לא יירא ישראל אל תירא
שמאיתנו הכל ניסים גלויים.
נתכם בשלום, תחזרו בשלום, בריאים ושלמים.
להורים שלהם ולמשפחות שלהם, ואמן ויהיה שלום במדינת ישראל.
כל הברכות שיש בעולם יבואו עליהם ושהם יחזרו בשלום.
טוב השמחות, פניך נעימות במנחה נצח. השם ישמור את כל חיילי צה"ל, אמן בעזרת השם.
באמונה וביטחון בצור העולמים ובעטרת ניצחון בית ישראל מתפללים בשלחים יום החזק עד כי תביאו בשורה אחינו כל בית ישראל העומדים בצרה אל תירא ישראל כי הוא אריה הלא אתה ואריה ישאג מי לא יירא ישראל אל תירא ישראל כי הוא אריה הלא אתה ואריה ישאג מי לא יירא
תמיד ילכו רק בשם השם, ככה הם ינצחו.
חזק ואמץ לחיילי צה"ל ולכל עם ישראל, ואנחנו איתם.
מחזיקים לכם אצבעות, השם יצבן בעזרת השם.
וכל המבצע שלהם הצליח, אמן.
לכל התושבים של הדרום, אנחנו איתכם.
שיוכלו ללכת לעבודה והילדים לגנים ולבתי ספר וכל טוב לכל עם ישראל.
אל תירא ישראל, כי גורליה לא אתה. ואל תירא, כי נשאר. מי לא יירא, מי לא יירא ישראל, אל